morning to you, our esteemed viewers from the capital city of the nation, and welcome to another exciting edition of Now Streaming, showing live from the Advent Cable Network Nigeria. This is your favorite morning talk show where we address burning issues, celebrate good news, and discuss topics that have the potential to change our lives. I am your uncle this morning, Rachel Ibu, and with me in the studio is Venerable Joseph Mwaya JP.
Thank you for having
He
me.
is the Director for Civic and Political Affairs, Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion, and also the Chaplain to the National Assembly. Also with us this morning is Mr. Samuel Dukitimi. He is a publisher.
Thank you.
You're both welcome to the program.
It's a pleasure being here.
Thank you. So viewers, sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride with us. It is going to be an interesting show, and we look forward to having you join us in the conversation. We'll be discussing the trending news for this morning, the 11th of July 2022. Do remember to call in with your comments and questions. It's always a pleasure to hear from you. So we'll dive right into the trending stories for today, Monday, 11th July 2022. And we're going to start on fuel scarcity, like it's been lingering for so long. When you think we're about to see the end to this thing, it surfaced again. And so far, it has been like this. So we have this fuel hits 250 per litre in Abuja. Others, queues spread. And we have this story again, fuel scarcity. Group advocates artisanal refineries legalization. I'll take that story on legalizing refineries from Punch newspaper. The president of People's Movement for a New Nigeria, Haji Yahya Ndu, on Sunday called on the federal government to legalize the operations of illegal crude oil refineries in order to make petroleum products available and affordable for Nigerians. He said the call had become imperative following challenges being faced by Nigerians due to the fuel scarcity, which had lingered for several weeks, leaving commuters stranded. Ndu, who is also the director of Institute for African Renaissance Studies and Realization at the Gregory University, Uturu, in a statement lamented the enormous amount of money being spent by Nigeria on petroleum subsidy. According to him, many of government neglect and unemployment in the Niger Delta region, coupled with other factors. I'll start with you, Mr. Sam. Do you see this as a welcome idea, legalizing illegal refineries? Because in the time past, we've heard of destroying such refineries because they are illegally managed. So, your thoughts?
Well, good morning, Joy. I think this call on the government is coming at a very material time, considering the fact that where the fuel is scarce, and also because of the scarcity of fuel, citizens of Nigeria are suffering a lot. We cannot even go about our normal duties. So it's very timely. You know, I come from the Niger Delta region.
Okay, so you should know more of the happenings there.
Yes, I will agree with you. Almost every creek you go to, you know, you tend to see where they are being they are in quote cooking this crude, refining it locally. Why? Because majority of the military that were sent to protect the facilities are also admittedly conniving with them to make money.
Okay.
So there is actually no way we can even stop this oil bunkering vandalism issues that we are plagued with in this country. So instead of allowing this economy to thrive, this illegal economy of illegal refinery to thrive, government, as admonished by this person, should allow them to legalize them, monitor them, see how they can do it in a better way so that Nigerians can get crude products from it. Ones that at least we can use put in our generators, ones that we can use in our cars, ones we can use for other purposes.
For other
So I think
products.
it's very, very good because fuel is scarce. We are importing refined products and still it's scarce. It's also the price is also very inflated.
Refineries are down to
Completely down. And they keep promising us that they will be refurbished as soon as possible, and we are not seeing it. So it's best they bring them into the system and allow them to refine these products and sell at an affordable price. So I think it's very good.
Okay. Daddy, do you agree with him?
That has always been my position over the years, and I've never at any time subscribed to the idea of destroying things, especially when we know that the underlying factor responsible for the queues we see every year, the high cost of fuel, is because we export crude oil and import the refined product to Nigeria. That has always been the problem. The problem of subsidy revolves around that. So I've always maintained the position that if God has given us this crude oil, why can't we refine it here?
Sure.
If the mainline refineries are not working, and ingenious Nigeria, let me call them, it's not all the time we demonize people. Ingenious Nigerians are going in there making effort to see how they can refine this thing illegally. Why can't we legalize it?
Sure.
And we are talking about unemployment.
That we even create.
When you export our crude out, the people, citizens of other countries are working in refineries abroad where our crude is refined. Why can't we develop as many refineries, whether you call it artisan, whether you call it a modular, whatever name, we have a way of meddling with English language. Whichever name you want to call it, what is it rocket science that we cannot refine oil in Nigeria? What will go into developing that sector? So I've always advocated for this, and I commend this person that is lending a voice to this call we have been making over the years. At least if these refineries are organized, licensed, monitored, we'll be developing local capacity. People in the Niger Delta region will be employed and they can work there. We will have succeeded in removing some people from the unemployment market. And we will avoid this problem of sending crude out and importing it to Nigeria, paying landing costs, paying all sorts of things. And that is where the biggest corruption in Nigeria revolves around. So I support this idea, and I do hope that the people that we are speaking to are listening and they'll be willing to embrace this idea. It will go a long way to help us as a country. That's the way to go.
And if it's legalized, the water is being polluted. You see people suffering from one ailment or the other. When it's legalized, at least this will even prevent.
Yeah, once it is legalized, and you are no longer hiding to do this thing, that is when you can talk about standardization of the process. That is when you can bring in experts to help. You understand? So it's like I simply liken this thing to refining of normal oil, this cooking oil. We eat palm oil. Yeah. If you look at the procedure, I know what it takes. When I was in the village, we cut banga and we joined our parents to go through the whole process from the beginning to the end. So what we are simply saying, standardize it. Sure. Maybe where those days you put that giant pot on fire and you kindle fire and smoke is everywhere. Find a way to do it in such a way to avoid all those emissions into the air. It's as simple as that. Yeah. And when he was speaking, he talks about the class of this finished refined product. You have the product that aviation can use. You have the product that vehicles, normal cars can use. You have the one that other locomotive machine like all these diesel engine and all that can use. Let's see which one can this modular or artisanal refinery can do. Encourage it. By so doing, would be localizing the technology. And before you know it, that is how a nation grows.
Sure.
That is how you deal with the problem of unemployment. And that is how you carry the indigenous community along. So most, even the main refineries, the mainline refineries that are not even working, most of them are being managed by expatriates. They bring these people in, pay them in dollars. And I don't since we got oil, can somebody tell me why this so-called expatriate in quotes have not transferred the technology to the locals?
That is another problem we're dealing with.
We are talking about
they work with people,
local
Nigerians
content. I think there's an agency that is in charge of local content development.
ACNNTV.
Yes. What are they doing? If you really want to focus on local content, it is by legalizing all these modular refinery, what you call illegal refinery, develop them, standardize them, license them, let them do it legally, then trade them, encourage them to send their staffs overseas
for training.
I think there are there are some refineries that are under construction. I think so.
Yeah.
I know of one around close to Yenagua.
Okay.
By the NCDMB and
we have that
partners.
of Dangote that will be.
Yes, there's also another in my area in Brass. See the Atlantic Refinery also.
Okay.
So that just to add to what you were saying. So I think the government is also doing its little best. The pace might be slow, but I think they are also on it.
Yeah. In legalizing the refineries, I just hope they are hearing us and they will buy into.
Considering the magnitude of the challenge fuel scarcity have given Nigeria over the years, the government need to move.
And talking about the amount going for subsidy, and we're not seeing the results.
And you just, what do we benefit in destroying things? Now, you say, if anytime they show you when the military or the agency in charge goes there to destroy this so-called, look at the emission. You are further polluting the environment. Huh?
I think around 2014 or 2015, I was working in an oil servicing company, and what we are into is to eradicate, or at least come to the barest minimum illegal oil bunkering activities. So what we do is we carry the NSCDC, the Nigerian military and other military personnel, take them to the creeks, and of course we work with intelligence, mostly people who live around the fishing camps, who live around the pipelines, who are also sometimes involved, or we are involved in these activities. So we give them some incentives. So we move. When we get to the place, we'll just destroy everything. And it's also a risky thing. While burning a product, sometimes there are these pipes that just burst out from me, explode, and so there was an instance I had to dive into the river.
The river to save your life.
It would have been a negative, a sad occurrence that would have happened. So, like you were saying, the process of burning those facilities too tend to
you still pollute the
environment so negatively.
You know.
I just hope the governments are listening to us and will buy into the idea. Viewers, please do call in, share your thoughts and opinions on the topics we're discussing this morning. It's raining season now. The rains are here with us, and it's been one flood to the other. We have this in Lagos State. Lagos residents lament flooding, transport fare hike, And Sanwo-Olu's aide apologizes to Lagosians. I don't know if you saw some videos going around the weekends of floods and the residents not finding it funny. I think there's this SUV too that got trapped.
It got trapped. I saw that.
It was horrible. So let me just take this. The Special Advisor on Drainage and Water Resources to Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State, Joe Igbokwe, has written an open apology to Lagosians over the flood that ravaged the state on Saturday after a heavy downpour, causing loss of property, among others. In a statement on Sunday, the SA Igbokwe apologized, saying that the flood could not be disconnected from the fact that Lagos was a coastal city. He said, "We acknowledge the damage done by flood in Lagos, that was on Saturday, and the losses. We apologize mostly sincerely for the pains and tears. We share the pains with those affected. Lagos is a coastal city that is prone to flooding. Everybody knows this. Lagos has the smallest land mass in Nigeria with 23 million Nigerians." And you know, they keep on saying it. Lagos is like immersed with water. And one thing I said while going through the stories, the residents to have, in another way, to be blamed. Because you see them throwing dirt everywhere and blocking these drainages. So when the rains comes now, it fallbacks on them. We know the government have their own part to play by clearing those drainages and stuff like that. But why do we have to get to this stage before anything is even done?
Now, I lived in Lagos some years ago. I think in the late, I think around 1991. And I lived with my in-law of blessed memory, who was a renowned scientist and a computer expert when computer was still just coming into the country. And he analyzed something for me, the topography of Lagos. And that is why I'm more concerned about long-term plan. If there's no long-term plan to redeem Lagos, one day we can wake up and Lagos is gone. From the picture he painted for me, the topography of Lagos is something like this. Let's take it around. Let's assume all the other area is the Atlantic Ocean.
Sure.
Now, this is a land mass round, and it's like a plateau raised up, but this top, the middle depression is where Lagosians are living, the mainland and everything. And so that's why you see the Lagos Lagoon goes round it. So Lagos is really inside the ocean. It's just that it's like a plateau that a plateau that is risen from the edge of the ocean. So the lagoon flows around it. And what has been happening over the years is that the plain around the Atlantic Ocean is being eaten up by the day. As at that 1991, when I was in Lagos, assuming this is the Atlantic Ocean, you will have a plain of this nature, almost about half a kilometer, filled with sand. Before you get to the flat surface filled with sand, then you of about maybe 3 electric poles away, before you get to the plain where you have all these palm trees and all that. That is where people have shops and things. So from the shops, you come to this plain where you play. Then before you get to the point that we slant down to the main ocean. But go there today. The last time I visited that place, all those areas I'm talking about are all gone. It is this very place that we have all those palm trees, those days, that is the only area remaining now. That's when one of the governors, was it Fashola? During Fashola, I don't know, I can't remember vividly now, started some work along the coastal line where they were piling up all these rocks, broken rock, yes, to stop.
Yeah.
So my concern is that if the topography of Lagos as described to me is the real thing, if care is not taken, if there's no long-term plan by federal government in conjunction with Lagos government to stop this, one day water will just take over the whole of Lagos. Everything will be submerged.
And it's a yearly thing, and you could imagine the type of rain in
So
Lagos
it's not for Igbokwe to come and be apologizing. If he's a special advisor in charge of that, he should know better than us. And he should advise the government on what to do. This thing is, yes, we blame Lagosians for disposing debts on the gutters and waterways, and especially those who are building on waterways.
drainage, yeah.
And so all these things should be carefully handled. As much as we blame these people, government need to wake up and do something drastic. Otherwise, one day it will be a major disaster that will make headlines all over the world. And whether you like it or not, Lagos is still the biggest city, one of the most industrial city in Nigeria. We cannot afford to lose Lagos.
Sure. Mr. Sam, your take on this?
Well, it's sad that residents of Lagos had to suffer the impact of the
You
flood.
visited Lagos before, you know how.
Yes. The last time I was there, I think it's 2020,
Okay.
October or thereabouts. In fact, when I was there, I think there was a rainfall, and somewhere in Lekki, the road was waterlogged. So it's a sad development. But I think, as Igbokwe said, I must give it to Igbokwe on this. I may not be his fan for some reasons, but I think he got it right, because it's very important that in the midst of a crisis situation, those who are responsible should make the right statements. In this case, the right statement is at least to show that we understand your plight or our plight. We are sorry for what is happening. So the apology was very, very needful, and is very good. It shows that the government is concerned. Now, he also raised a pertinent issue about the cause of the flood as one of the causes, that, okay,
It's a coastal city.
most of the time, the way they dump the refuse, mostly inside canals and other areas that they are not meant to dump them, that residents dispel them there and the rest. It's not just peculiar to Lagos. In Nigeria, we tend to do the abnormal things as though they are normal.
Like a lawless country, will
It
I say
happens. This happens in other cities too. I think even in Onitsha and other cities, including my own state capital, by Eyenagwa. So it's unfortunate that citizens are blocking the canals and other pathways where the water ought to flow down to the Atlantic. So it's very sad. Again, he also made it clear, and I agree with him, that flooding is not peculiar to Lagos, majorly because of climate change and other factors. So let's not deal with it as if...
mention of a country he visited of recent.
Now, see, that is where, sorry, my brother, to interject a little. That is why I don't see something so spectacular about that very speech. That speech, I didn't see any aspect of the speech that practically analyzed to Lagosians about the steps that government is taking presently to practically address the issues. See, every Lagosian knows that they are living in a coastal city. Every Lagosian knows that this flood comes seasonally as it has come now. Every Lagosian knows that the issue of canal, dropping things in canal and all that has been a problem over the years. So, having stated all that, the obvious, if I may put it that way, he should tell us what government is practically doing. What has he advised government to the steps to take to practically address the issue? That is what really will give the Lagosians who are victims the assurance. What has happened has already happened. Sorry will not change anything. But coming out to say, well, we are sorry, but government is taking this step, government is taking this step, government is taking this step, we reassure the people that, okay, there is hope. If government is doing this, we have hope that this thing somehow, someday may stop. But that element was completely missing from what I listened to. So that is my own concern about this speech.
You are not far-fetched to have also mentioned that. Actually, I was also coming to that point, yes, because after stressing the fact that, okay, it is beyond our control, government's control and the rest, there were no profiling of solutions practical solutions. I also did not see that. But it is also still, it is not unexpected too. You may agree with me, in this country, you see every day, sorry to digress a little, every day things happen, security challenges, and they'll come out, say, okay, we grieve with the families and the rest, and make some funny promises that will stamp the issues out and the rest. So it's not unexpected. I know that at the end, it will just make some political statements that seem like assurances, but we are used to it.
Okay, now talking about insecurity, we're going on the stories. Edo police kill suspected kidnapper in Max. Panic as gunmen abduct women leader in Imo church. And abducted Adamawa pastor's daughter regains freedom. Sons buried. Anambra community apprehends suspected gunman. Gang members flee. Ondo Anglican bishop backs self-defense. And we have this NSCDC alerts on planned terrorist attacks on schools, churches, others in Abuja. I can see that
it's pathetic.
Yes, it is.
It's painful.
It is.
You don't even know where to start from. Well, let's start from the Adamawa pastor, whose 2 sons were killed, and the daughter was adopted and now released. Well, we thank God that she's out. Anything could have happened also. We really commiserate with the pastor, and we pray that God will console him.
He's still in the hospital.
Yes, console him and revive him. And I don't know what is happening to the wife. Okay, you can see the family on the screen. You can imagine losing these 2 children on the same day.
24 years and 19.
When they committed no offense. Who did they offend? How do you atone for this kind of 18?
Like I was telling, I was telling someone today, why didn't they abduct, kidnap the boys too? Like they released the girls yesterday after a ransom was paid. The whole thing just didn't make sense.
I think there are certain things I prefer not to say on air, so that it will not be interpreted as incitement. The idea of killing the male children and adopting the female have other dimensions, which I will not want to discuss on air. Let's leave that. Now, talking about insecurity generally, it is unfortunate that we have gotten to where we are now. Let me go to my dear state, Edo State. It is unfortunate what is happening in Edo State. Edo State is one of the southern states where the issue of kidnapping has been now well established. It's like it has been domesticated there now. There's no single route. I'm from Edo State and from Edo Central in particular. If between Auchi to Ekpoma, which is in Edo Central, which is my town, is a no-go area. You can't pass that route. And if you have to pass that route, you need to pray hard. From Iruekme, which is the other extreme of Ekpoma, down to Benin City, is another no-go area that have been known. There's hardly any day there's no kidnapping on that road. Then from the only other road you can use to connect the east is to go through Uromi, down to Ebele, then go and bust out at Agbo. That is a no-go area. That is the route where our dear Venerable in Abuja here was kidnapped 2 weeks ago. And that is the road where our Bishop of Gwagwalada was kidnapped before. So that route, in fact, when that of our dear brother Venerable Ben happened, some of our colleagues in the ministry there told us that there's hardly a day that somebody is not kidnapped along that route, especially towards evening. Now, tell me, how will people like us visit our state?
With all the roads you mentioned now, which one?
No single road you have to pass. Even if I want to go by air, if I have the means to go by air, I have to go and land in Benin City. I will still take Benin Iruekme Road. And it's a no-go area. Then, when you move from Benin to Lagos axis, Benin to Ofosu, down to Ore, it's another dangerous zone. If you follow 94 Road from that Lagos axis, you want to connect into places like Ondo State through 94 Road, that's another route. It's a no-go area. So, how do you travel to such a state? So it's really a pity. Look at the situation, the woman that is adopted. Is which of the state in the east? Is that Imo or where?
Imo State.
And when
that happened in the church.
Yes, when I read through, it's like they were waiting for her to finish service before they struck.
And they said someone who was in the vehicle that identified her, the target was just the woman.
The woman. So with all these things happening here and there, and look, okay, let's come home here. Look at what happened in Kuje. Up till now, no single person has been arrested to say this is one of the persons that came to attack Kuje prison. What is really happening is that the terrorists are getting more and more emboldened. I read through the NCDC letter memo just now. It's really scary.
Now, should we be panicking
now,
wherever we are going?
When
Even
the
in
NCDC, a government security body, is coming to give that alert now and saying we should do the needful in all the area that are soft target, what are you telling me to do? Is it not? Are you not telling me defend yourself? And now, when you are talking about self-defense or even defending yourself, if a prison like Kuje prison can be attacked and all the prisoners released like that unhindered, then how many security men am I going to employ to secure my church? How many guns am I going to buy as an individual?
And give your members
to defend ourselves. And so it's a very complicated matter, and it's really sad. That is why the response by our bishop in Ondo State is very apt. You don't really need to use mouth to begin to tell person now that security system have failed, that everyone need to defend himself or herself. I've always said this before, even before the thing degenerated to this level, that self-defense is a natural instinct. You know, I've demonstrated that here over and over and over again. If I do like you see, this man blink his eyes. That is self-defense. He don't want me to put finger
in his eye.
inside his eyes. That is self-natural. So, for me, legalizing, well, when you're talking about self-defense, it's already even legal. It's in the Constitution. You have the right to defend yourself. If somebody comes with the intention to kill you, you have the right to defend yourself. It is scriptural. It is scriptural. Even when the person who have come, an assailant who have come to kill innocent person, becomes a victim because the person that is targeted, because he's prepared, has upper attack, the Bible classified that as unintentional killing. And it said there should be a place of asylum to be given to such a person, because it is God that has put that enemy into your hand. So you see that it is even scriptural. So government need to look at it. If the agencies, security agencies are overwhelmed, then there's nothing wrong in encouraging reputable citizens. If you license a gun for me, even if government decide to give me an AK-47 today, you can be sure I will not use it to rob any person. You can be sure I will not use it to harass any person. There are reputable people like that in different communities in our society that government can look at, can license, arm them to assist security. These people can be volunteers. If you give me an AK-47 and license it, about 2 or 3 electric pole away, there's another decent Nigeria there. You license him and give him an AK-47 there. What you have succeeded is you are expanding the security architecture. There will be a forum where these people that are licensed, reputable Nigeria, that are armed by government, will be meeting with the regular security, the military, the police. There's something we call a police community. There's a name they use for it.
Community Relations Committee.
Police Community Relations Committee. Yes. I was one time a patron to a local government, what is it called? Session of that. Yes, when I was in Edo State years ago. Where you interact, you work together and have the contact, you can network. And these people that will be licensed and they'll be given sophisticated weapon, these reputable Nigerians, will not be paid by government. They will do this on volunteer basis. I don't see anything wrong with that. When people are talking about legalizing arm or giving arm to people to defend themselves, people are always looking at it from the angle of giving the gun to any Dick and Harry in the society.
Mr. Sam, your thoughts on this?
Well, the fact that Nigeria is faced with so many security challenges cannot be gainsaid. Now, it is not peculiar to the north. It's not peculiar.
It has spread.
It has spread, actually. Where I come from in Bayelsa, my LGA is not connected by road. Okay. It takes about 30 minutes to drive to Nembe, where you get to the road. Now, almost on a weekly basis, there are acts of piracy, kidnapping. About 3 weeks ago or thereabouts, they kidnapped, I think, 8 persons. Up till this moment, none has been released. No, I think the families and perhaps the security agents are in touch with them. But the ransom is really high. And from somebody I spoke with, whose father is also in their hand, is kidnapped by them. The boy told me that what they are demanding is so high, is outrageous, and except the government comes in, the state government comes in, it will almost be impossible for them to get such an amount to release his dad. In the southeast, it is the same thing. The call by the cleric, the bishop, is very good, because the core responsibility of government is to protect lives and property.
And they are unable to.
Even the infrastructures are not substantially provided for.
For now.
We are trying to endure that. Now, our lives are threatened, not just our properties. Our lives are threatened. He recalled what happened at Kuje prison. It is a national embarrassment, if not an African embarrassment,
Yes.
being the giants of Africa. So it is a very sad thing. How can people visit, let me use the word visit, such a prison stationed in the
In the Federal Capital Territory.
Stayed there, operated for about,
2
as
hours.
reported, 3 hours,
3.
as reported, and they could not repel them, they could not do anything. It means that our lives are not safe. As residents of Abuja, considering the memo we saw from the NSCDC Abuja FCT commandant, is troubling.
And with the
Discouraging
terrorists
too.
that
So
escaped,
one
you don't even know where they are. I was expecting
No,
such
that
things
is why
happen.
we are
You
forced.
see road blocks with security personnel and in strategic areas, but
No.
this is not
Now,
happening.
sorry, my brother. I dashed to, what's it called? Papi area last night to pay a visit. And when I was coming back, I was caught in the mess of so-called security check. In fact, I left the place few minutes to 8 p.m. and I entered my compound just about 5 minutes to 12 midnight.
Oh.
That is something that's supposed to take me less than 30 minutes. Less than 30 minutes. These 4 military men blocked the road at the middle of the hill.
Inside Pape.
In that road to Pape, just the middle of the hill, they block it where you cannot find a way to go. And they are just relaxed. They are doing their checking, laughing, doing what they said they were doing, but people suffered. And I tell you, there are vehicles that cannot get close to their house by 2 a.m. yesterday because I've succeeded in pulling out few minutes to 12. That's why I was able to get home 5 minutes to 12. And I see vehicles are broken down. The vehicles are doing overheating. There are some vehicles rolling back. You see, hitting there, especially those of us that were descending. I thought we were facing problem until when we passed the point and see the people that are sending that they are very yeah. So what kind of confusion is this?
People.
I tried to appeal to one of the young men.
We have a caller, sir.
Okay.
Good morning, Mr. Samuel.
I give everybody in the studio.
Thank
you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I want to contribute towards the incident that happened in Kuje.
Okay.
You see, as the people in the studio said, it is time for we to defend ourselves. It's just that the government knows they don't want to give us the license for we to be handle guns. When you go to order for guns, they'll tell you that there is an embargo on it. And we find out that what happened in the Kuje, in fact, government, they are involved. Could you believe that? Why those people walk over 2 hours while we are in Kuje, we cannot sleep? We have people very close to the prison. We have a security personnel along before you enter prison. And not happen. Those people, we even had that they changed all the security personnel before this came back the following day. We are not safe. Our life is not safe. If Nigeria, if the government can give us license for we to have gun now to defend ourselves, it's very important. May God bless Nigeria. Thank you, sir.
Very much for your contribution. This is a resident close to that very place the thing happened.
Yeah.
And he was in the middle of it. And our security personnel
You can imagine what he went through.
Yes, they said
being
many of
impacted by
they said
the,
many of them did not sleep.
by the gunshots and the explosives.
You know, I was trying to conclude my what I experienced yesterday. I tried to whisper to one of the young military men, say, please, we are constituting more risk because the road, you know how narrow that road
Very
is.
narrow.
What has happened is those coming from Pape are now maintaining 3 queues. Vehicles almost scratching themselves while they leave one tiny lane
For
those ascending.
Okay.
Then when we pass the checkpoint, the same thing. Those climbing using 3 lanes, leaving way, just using 1 lane now, almost off the road to be able to come out. I said, assuming these terrorist people really want to strike and they detonate a bomb inside that very thing, the effect will be something else.
Yes.
You needed to see how crowded it was. And we are talking about 12 midnight
We'll have
with
to move on
thousands
now to
of
election
vehicles.
matters. This story on CSOs urges INEC to improve voter registration in Edo. For that question to you, and in your own capacity and your department, we know we have a new center at Wuse. So, how far the progress report?
Well, it's good, but not all good yet. First of all, we want to commend the INEC for granting our request. What we did as CONAC is the arm of the Church of Nigeria, registered with INEC. It's a faith-based organization that have been observing election, working with INEC since 2011 till date. And we were in the old parade ground, and we saw what Nigerians were passing through, the crowd, the stampede, and everything. So that was what prompted us as a church, under the leadership of our Father in the Lord, His Grace, the Most Reverend Henry C. Undukuba, for us to apply to INEC to see if they can decentralize the registration center. And INEC heeded the call and they decentralized it, but we discovered that Wuse area was kind of, it's a populated area, and the only area that was in Wuse is JSS Secondary School, Government Secondary School, which is in Wuse Zone 3. So we have to write a special letter to ask for a center to be placed in number 24 Douala Street, Wuse Zone 5. At least if that is closer to Wuse Market, closer to so many garages where people there who can so many plazas around. So what we did as a church was to bring the center close to the people, and I thank the REC, Yahya Bello, who listened to us and granted that very center. We started registration there on Wednesday, but not without some hitches. They promised to bring 2 machines, but eventually they came with 1. And at a point,
We can see
at a point we were having some technical issues with that, but later in the afternoon they were able to bring 1 more registration machine to add. Then at the middle of the exercise, there was a big challenge. Somebody alleged that a center has been created in the church. Thank God you can see it in the television. This is an open car park, not being used. There's no church there. There's no church building near there. Nothing like church here. Then we also, the security men, our security men on ground were proactive. Even before I arrived at the venue, they brought out papers for people to be writing their names and obtaining numbers. If you go through, you see Mohammed there, you see Salisu there, you will see.
Hold on.
Yes.
We have a caller. Good morning, Mr. Okoro.
All right, good morning.
Good morning. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I want to make a comment on the issue that took place at the Kuje prison. The situation in Nigeria has become pathetic as regards security. Actually, we are talking about prison break. But from my own point of view, I see it as a security breakdown, because there is no one that can get to the prison of that profile where criminals and terrorists are kept, and you don't go through the security. So what actually happened was not just a prison break, it was a security break, total security break. And we cannot tell where this will lead us to. And how can you move the army that were located in that particular place 24 hours before this incident took place? So it goes to tell us that the hand of the government is behind. So we have to actually know what to do proper investigation so that to ensure the safety of the lives of people that are within that Abuja area. If not, the work may still happen. Thank you.
Thank you for your contribution, sir.
Yeah, so what they allege that the place was allocated to a church, which was completely not true. And I thank God, 2 out of the INEC officials sent were really Muslims. Ladies,
So
you
could
could
see
see
from
them,
the- from
see
the
them
video.
on their hijab and everything. They looked around and said there was no church here. But since some people have already alleged and they said the DSS called the office, so the REC office, so they have to take some practical steps, though that had jeopardized the security arrangement we made for people. Why we used that car park was that it was spacious enough. The car
accommodate
park is bigger than some of these public space in public schools. So, and we were using one gate to enter. Before you go in, the security will screen you. And you know, we started that registration center a day after the jailbreak in
Yes.
Kuje, and we didn't want somebody to infiltrate. So we screen people properly before you get to the point where the registration table was located. But that has been compromised now. In order to further prove to the people that this is not for a church. What Anglican Church have only done is to bring the registration closer to the people. That's what we have done. We have to move the table from inside the car park to under the trees along the street.
Wow.
In the front of the car park. If that is what we convince people that this is not about church or whatever. So the exercise continued there. We thank God the rain have not disturbed. But the following day, Friday, we had issue. They came with only one registration machine. By the time it has registered about 30-something persons, the thing broke down. And all the people on queue giving number were sent away. We hope to continue on Wednesday after the Salah break.
Okay.
And over 400 persons have already collected number. We are scheduling them to come on days like that. It's open to all, and we want every person to catch into that opportunity that is created by our church and in collaboration with INEC to make sure they come and do the needful.
Okay.
And
That's
just to
okay.
quickly add this, that it is the registration that is being the fresh registration. But for those who want to transfer their cards, they are voting,
do it online,
they can still do it online.
Online.
Those who want to report damaged PVC, those who want to report other issue can still do it online on their devices. And we also had an INEC volunteer who was there with us to help people. So if you are coming around, you fall into that category, you don't need to come and stay on that long queue.
Yeah.
All you need to do, come with your phone, make sure you have data. Then when you open your phone, the INEC volunteer can guide you on what to do.
Okay, we're running out of time. Mr. Sam, we're coming to this story now on the Muslim ticket. Tinubu has finally picked his running mate. I thought it's like some people think he's going to do the contrary and get a Christian VP, but it happened.
Well, I'm not surprised because
Okay.
most Nigerians expected it. He is from the south. He's a Muslim, and he is to have a running mate from the northern part of this country, mostly Muslims. Now, it will be difficult for them to accept somebody, a Christian, being his running mate. That's one thing I think. Most Muslims would not want to. Wouldn't want, most Northerners wouldn't see the need for them to say, okay, his running mate should be, in the APC, should be a Christian. Since he is a Southerner, at least, most of the time, somebody from the South, a Christian, most of the time, somebody from the North is a Muslim.
So now, again, I just want you to give us
the major players in the APC in the North are Muslims.
Okay, what is your take on this Muslim? Like, is it the right thing for the ruling party now?
You know, politics is all about winning elections for them. It's all about winning elections. Tinubu thinks that is what will give him victory.
Okay.
That is what he thinks. However, for me, it is not really expedient. I wouldn't support it because we know what is happening. It's a very multicultural, multi-religious nation, and considering the times that we are in, Nigeria can even be described as a volatile nation now. So fielding a running mate who is a Muslim, I don't think is really nice. He could have at least taken somebody from the North who is a Christian.
Okay, now Daddy, as a cleric, the Khans are fuming over this, and they've warned before it happened. So your take?
You see, I hope this is an.
Okay, can you hold your thought, please? Good morning, sir.
Okay, concerning the situation of the country, I don't know what our president is doing, because this thing is getting out of hand. There's nowhere that you can go now is safe. Yesterday night, I was coming from town. I'm coming from Lupi. So immediately I entered Papi. So there was a lady. Oh, okay, I was looking for bike. There's no bike. Now, okay, the lady we should be trekking. So the lady was explaining to me that she entered a bike from that Papi Junction. So the machine diverts to inside bush. So immediately she shot for the machine, the other turned back. And because the lady, she's a soldier, he said she came from wedding in Abuja. So that means there is something happening inside that place. There should be all those boys inside the place, all those terrorist boys, they are inside those places. I know very, very sure they will carry somebody to that bush and do anything they like with the person. And their target is a lady. So please, the security of this country is getting out of hand.
Thank you very much for your contribution.
Thank you.
Yes, I think the decision by APC is so insensitive, so callous. It means that APC is not, doesn't really care about the unity of this country. They are not mindful of, you can see the sectionalism, the division that APC government have created over these years. And it means they are not ready to solve that problem at all. In a country like ours, you see all political parties over the years, whether Christians or Muslims, have always been mindful of this idea of balancing their ticket. even presidential candidates have been mindful of balancing their ticket. And you will expect that to be done more at this time, seeing how factional the country has become, how fragile the country has become. But for a party at this time to pick a presidential candidate, a Muslim, and they are also adding, what is it called, vice presidential candidate as a Muslim is so insensitive. And I think it may be an answer to the prayer some Christians have been praying that some people should make mistake.
Okay,
Yes,
that
some
some
people should make mistake. I see this as the beginning of the end of APC, because it means they have no regard for Christians at all. That party have no regard for Christians. They have no regard. Now, how do you tell me that there's no a Christian figure in APC in the whole North that can appeal to the people, to the people in the North that can make them vote? So if they feel that all the Christians in the North are not important, you cannot find one person among them, well, that is good for APC. It is left for Christians to take their decision.
Thank you very much for
it
your
is left
thoughts
for Christians.
Your comments so far. We're grateful for honoring our invite, Mr. Sam. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Venerable Joseph Noah JP. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, and
Thank
I
you
want
for
everyone
always
to go and get their PVC ready, and they should vote wisely.
Thank you very much. And to our viewers, it's been a pleasure having you join us in our discussion today. We look forward to having you with us next time. To our crew, you are the best. Thanks for all you do. And viewers, go get your voter's card like he has emphasized now, if you haven't, so you can vote the kind of leaders that will want to govern us for the next 4 years. Trust God and know that he is our ultimate protector. I am Rachel Ibunu. Bye for now.